Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the Yreka City Council meeting, March 3rd, 2026 for our closed session. It's 6:01 p.m. and I will go ahead and open this up for public comment for the closed session item. Since there's no public here, I will move on to item 3 on our agenda, which is closed session. The council will recess to closed session to discuss the following items. And at the conclusion of the session, open session will reconvene and reportable action, if any, will be announced. Item A is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9. The name of the case is Welch versus the City of Yreka, Siskiyou County case number SCSCC-VPT 2021-944. Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to the Yreka City Council meeting for March 3rd, 2026. And Councilman Middleton, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The city council met in closed session this evening, and we came out of closed session at 6:24 with no reportable action taken. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Good evening, Yreka City Council. Please let me know you are here by saying aye. Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember McCoy.
Aye.
Councilmember Middleton. Councilmember Claire.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Aye.
Thank you.
Item number 6, approval of the agenda. What are the wishes of the council?
Councilmember Claire, I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilmember Middleton, second from Councilmember Claire to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. There are no presentations this evening, so we'll move on to public comment. Public participation is welcomed and invited at all city council meetings. This time is set aside for residents to address the city council on matters listed on the consent agenda, as well as other items not included on the regular agenda. If your comments concern an item noted on the regular agenda, please address the council when that item is open for public comment. The city requests that persons addressing the city council refrain from making personal, slanderous, profane, or disruptive remarks. Please speak into the microphone from the podium, and the podium electronically adjusts up and down to accommodate the speaker. Please address the council as a whole. Please state your name for the record prior to providing your comments, and please limit your remarks to 5 minutes. Do I have any public comment this evening? I have no public comment, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. And what are the wishes of the council regarding the consent agenda?
All right, Councilman Claire, I'm going to make a motion to adopt the consent agenda of the City Council of the City of Yreka as presented.
Councilman Middleton, I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Claire, second from Councilmember Middleton to adopt the consent agenda of the City Council of the City of Yreka as presented. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Public hearings. I'll go ahead and read the public hearing protocol. Number 1, the mayor will describe the purpose of the public hearing. 2, city staff will provide the staff report. 3, city staff will respond to questions from the city council. 4, the mayor will open the public hearing. 5, public wanting to comment will come to the podium, provide the city clerk with their name and address, and provide their comments. 6, the mayor will close the public hearing. And 7, the city council will deliberate and act on the item. This evening, we have our planning manager here, and the agenda title is Conditional Use Permit Number 2025-89 Larkins. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. This is Alia Roca Lezra, your planning manager, and tonight we have a public hearing and potential action for a conditional use permit for 335 North Main Street, approving an office conversion to a single-family residential dwelling. The applicant is Mr. Alan Larkins, who is here tonight right next to me. So the applicant is proposing a conditional use permit to convert the existing office building into a single-family residence. The building was previously converted to a single-family residence back in 2011. Up until then, it had been used as a professional office building, and then it was used in 2011 for a residence for a couple of years, converted back into a professional office. It was used as a real estate office, and now the applicant is wanting to convert it back into a single-family dwelling. There are some minor interior improvements proposed, including reinstalling the bathtub and stove in their original location, adding a fuel tank for the stove, and upgrading the electrical system to current building code standards. There are no alterations proposed to the exterior of the building or the existing structure, so there will be no expansion of the building footprint. Pursuant to the Yreka zoning code, residential uses consistent with the R2 zone are permitted in the commercial professional office zone upon the approval and validation of a conditional use permit. So that's something I'm not sure if I mentioned off the top, that this structure is in a commercial professional office zone. So that's why it needs this conditional use permit to convert it from the office into the single family dwelling. This project was checked for general plan and city code consistency. The project is in compliance with goal LU.1 of the general plan, which is to maintain flexibility in land use designation and zone districts. The proposed project also complies with the applicable development standards, which are outlined in that chart in the staff report. Under the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, the proposed use qualifies for a Class 1 categorical exemption, which is for existing facilities. This project can be classified as an existing facility because it involves the reuse of an existing office building with only minor interior modifications to accommodate the conversion into a single-family residential use. Once again, there are only minor interior improvements proposed, and there is no expansion of the building footprint proposed. So for the city council to be able to approve a conditional use permit, there are several findings that need to be made. These findings include compatibility with the current land use designation of that commercial professional office zone. There's a finding that this use will not adversely impact the health, safety, and wellness of the zone that it's in, including negatively affecting traffic patterns or emitting odors or causing noises that are not in line with the zoning designation. There's a finding that the project will comply with the existing municipal code, the general plan, that there are appropriate utilities for to accommodate the proposed use. So staff have been able to make all of these findings. And if you have any more specific questions on them, I'm happy to answer those as well. This public hearing was properly noticed, and letters were sent to all property owners within 300 feet of the project. The staff recommendation tonight is that the city council hold the notice public hearing for consideration of this conditional use permit. Following the public hearing, staff recommends adoption of the attached resolution, which determines that the proposed use is categorically exempt from further CEQA review and makes the necessary findings to approve CUP 2025-89. Mr. Larkins, do you have any comments that you would like to make at this time? If not, that's okay. Okay, well, that concludes my staff report.
All right. Do any of the council members have questions? Mr. Middleton?
Was there any opposition or any response from any neighboring?
No, we didn't receive any comment from anyone.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you so much. At this time, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing, and I will open it for public comment at this time. As there's no public comment, I will go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to City Council to deliberate and take action on this item. Anybody have any comments?
If I might.
Councilmember McCoy.
Mr. Larkins has moved into this community and already purchased a house and has done not that it makes a difference, but he's done a fabulous job of keeping it up. It's also on the main drag. This house that he's looking at is gorgeous. I mean, I remember looking at it for my wife and I at one time, maybe 20, 25 years ago. It's a gorgeous home. I think he just wants to move in and he wants to live there. And I think it's great to have I mean, having somebody living in it or working in it, whatever, just helps our downtown as far as the Main Street goes. I think he'd be a welcome addition to that house. I would love to see him in it. The only congestion he's going to deal with is getting out of his driveway, and he's not going to do any more. He's not going to give us any more congestion. It makes the street look better, and having him living there and his family, I think, is a positive thing for our community. Remember, we need housing, and what he's doing is he's changing something back to housing, and it's something that we as a council really do support, because housing is a tough commodity in Yreka. So I really am supportive of this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Any other comments? Mr. Davis?
I think it's a great idea to get it back into the single family residence. And I support it also.
Thank you. Okay, what are the wishes of the council?
This is Councilman McCoy. Let me go back to I'd like to make a motion. Hang on, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'd like to make the motion to approve Resolution 2026-10 of the City Council of the City of Yreka approving conditional use permit 2025-89 pertaining to a conversion of an existing office building to a single-family residence and adoption of Class 1 existing facilities categorical exemption under the California Environmental Quality Act CEQA at assessor's parcel number 053212040.
I will second that motion.
I have a motion from Councilmember McCoy, second from Councilmember Davis to approve Resolution 2026-10. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
All those in favor of approving Resolution 2026-10, please signify by saying aye. Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember McCoy,
Aye.
Councilmember Middleton,
Aye.
Councilmember Claire, Councilmember Baker.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion passes.
thank you. Okay, we're moving on to item number 11, which is a city business. This is Lieutenant Dirksen and our interim city manager, John Elsnab, regarding a resolution of the city of Yreka amending the city's personnel rules for sworn peace officers, the signing bonus. Mr. Elsnab.
Good morning, or good evening, apologize. For tonight's discussion, the Yreka Police Department's sworn officer signing bonus, as outlined in the city's personnel rules, has been utilized as both a recruitment and a retention incentive for approximately the last 10 years. The signing bonus has proven to be an effective tool in attracting lateral officers and police academy graduates to the Yreka Police Department. While the program has been beneficial, staff believes that an increase in hiring incentives is necessary to remain competitive in the current labor market and to successfully attract and retain qualified sworn personnel. And I'm going to hand it over to Lieutenant Dirksen to give some additional content on the matter.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Councilman, Lieutenant Dirksen, YPD. At this point during our proposal, I want to give you an update on our current staffing levels for full-time officer positions. The YPD's budgeted staff is 16 full-time sworn officers, which consists of the chief, lieutenant, 4 sergeants, and 10 officers. As of today, we have 2 vacant positions and additionally 2 officers out on medical or other reasons. This leaves us with a total of 4 vacant shifts we're having problems covering now. As of March 6th, this coming Friday, another officer will be leaving to go to another department. March 11th, sergeant of ours is retiring. March 26th, our detective is also leaving to go to another department in Oregon. By the end of March, our staffing level will be at 3 sergeants and 4 patrol officers. We should be operating at 4 sergeants and 10 patrol officers. This will leave our department with 7 vacant patrol shifts that will not be covered. We are, however, currently working on a schedule that we think we have come up with that will still provide 24-hour coverage 7 days a week, though it's going to be tight. By May 1st, another member of our department plans on retiring as well. This will leave our full-time sworn officer positions at 50%. With this low number, it will be very challenging to maintain the coverage needed to effectively protect the city of Yreka and its citizens. Keep in mind, the officers we have left have families, planned vacations, mandated post-trainings, court appearances, always a chance of becoming sick or ill, or just plain burnout from being overworked. This all could lead to more shifts that I have to figure out how to cover. We do have 2 sponsored cadets in the current police academy who graduate at the end of May 2026. Keep in mind, they have a minimum of a 4-month field training program before they can become a solo patrol officer. That means if everything goes well during their training, they will be covering one of the vacant shifts around October, November 2026. So thanks for listening and to our proposal. I'm going to turn it back to John.
I have some more information I want to share with the council. Thank you, Lieutenant Dirksen. So currently, the signing bonus for police academy graduates is $5,000. The bonus typically offsets the cost of academy tuition as well as the cadets' initial uniform expenses. Lateral officers, so from other departments, they also receive the same $5,000 signing bonus plus an additional $1,000 up for each full year, up to a total of 15. So 5,000 for academy graduates, 15 for sworn laterals. So, and here's our recommendation for tonight as another hiring and recruitment tool. Staff recommends increasing the academy graduate signing bonus to $7,500 to better assist with the rising tuition and uniform cost. In addition, staff recommends increasing the lateral officer signing bonus to $10,000, resulting in a potential total signing bonus of up to $25,000 distributed over a 3-year period to enhance the city's ability to attract experienced lateral officers. Additionally, staff recommends the creation of a $2,500 referral bonus for current employees who directly refer a lateral officer candidate. To qualify for the referral bonus, the referred officer must successfully complete FTO, Field Training Officer program, and satisfactorily complete the department's probationary period. So before an officer refers someone, they have to, it's basically 1 year before they would receive that $2,500. And that's just to incentivize officer agency to agency working for the city of Yreka. Now, as I mentioned, that bonus up to $25,000, that would be bringing over a lateral with at least 15 years of experience, which doesn't typically happen very often. I can really only think of maybe 1 or 2 in the last 5 years with that amount of experience. Normally, they're academy graduates or a couple years at another agency. And just to reiterate, that bonus is over the course of three full years, 25% at FTO, which is around 6 months, typically 4 to 6 months, 25% at probation, which is year 1, 25% at year 2, 25% at year 3. So if someone only works for the city for 1 year, they're getting 50% of the bonus. The current bonus structure, they actually get 75% of the 15,000 bonus year 1. So this actually spreads the bonus more over the course of the 3 years to incentivize staying.
Thank you. Do any of the council members have questions? I have a question for you, Mr. Elsnab. Can we afford this?
Well, with being down 6, 7, 8 officers, there's a savings there. Depending on why the person's on leave, there's increased overtime when you get that low. But at the end of the time, in my opinion, overtime is cheaper than full benefits. So there is a savings there. But at the end of the day, I think the cost is you have to have public safety for the city of Yreka. So I'm going to say, yes, we can afford it. We can't afford it. And I think it's just, if we don't do the signing bonuses, we're going to rely on academy graduates and the current incentives that we have. And we have not received many lateral candidates from other agencies really over the last year. It's not working. And that's why we're back here tonight, is to improve the incentives. And it's going to be a multi-step approach to get back to full staffing, but I'm confident at some point we will be back at full staffing. Some of these vacancies are within our control and some of them were not.
Thank you. Mr. Davis?
How long do these officers stay after they receive their signing bonus? Is it pretty general they stay for several years? Or do they stay for 1 and then look for another green pasture to get a bonus?
It depends. I mean, we have officers that have been with the department 20 plus years or near that. And we have others that move on after a couple, and some that will have long careers with us. So it's hard to say without having every name of every prior officer in the last few years in front of me. But
Thank you, John. But there's nothing written that they will be with us. I'm sorry. There's nothing written.
no, the bonus, there's no clawback agreement on it.
Length of stay.
No, there's nothing saying that they could quit day 1 if they wanted, once we hire them.
Well, they could, but they don't get the full bonus if they quit day 1.
If they quit day 1, they would get nothing.
Yes.
Because you have to at least go through the process. You have to go through FTO, probation, year 1, year 2, year 3.
These sign-on bonuses and lateral bonuses, I want to clarify, they're one time only. They're not ongoing, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I will open this up for public comment. As there's no public comment, I will bring it back to the council to deliberate and to take possible action. So what are the wishes of the council?
I know this is an ongoing issue, but it's an ongoing issue with a lot of departments. I like the idea. I like the idea that these two that they've come up with, the 3 of you, I know with the chief. in regards to their one-time bonus. They're not ongoing. I mean, you and I know both, I mean, negotiating with teachers or whatever, that, you know, if you get a one-time bonus, it's much more appreciated to the general fund than an ongoing raise or something like that. So I like the idea that they have the bonuses. I like the idea that we sponsored the cadets, because other law enforcement is, and I'm sure that Councilman Claire knows, because he was in law enforcement for a long time, that other departments do sponsor cadets, which I think is good. We have to remember right now, because of the current crisis with pharmacists, that pharmacies are offering bonuses. If somebody wants to leave a pharmacy in Mount Shasta, come to work for a different chain pharmacy in Yreka, they're offering a $50,000 bonus. And you have to stay with them, I think 4 years, Drake, is what it is with them. In my 30 years of teaching, we offered sign-in bonuses. We got to a point when I lived in Southern California, we were offering sign-in bonuses to teachers out of Canada because we couldn't get them. Right now, you know, I mean, you guys are down over half, really, or just about half. Yeah. In Siskiyou County, of all of the teachers that teach in Siskiyou County in public schools, 55% of them are credentialed, 45% are not credentialed. So, I mean, it's with teachers, yes, it's equally important, but with law enforcement, I think it's, you know, our city people cease to see it as a safe city if we don't do something. Remember that the military also does this, both for active duty and for reserve. If a reserve comes in, depending on where they are, they can get a signing bonus for, but again, it's not paid. It's like you're talking about. It's not paid in 1 year. It's paid in several years. And you do have to have a commitment that you're going to stay there in order to get that last payment. So I think this is a good way to approach the issue. I also like the bonus that if I'm a police officer for YPD and I bring the lieutenant, an officer, and he signs on, that there's that $2,500 bonus, because we also know that some retailers, your more fancy retailers do that as well. If you bring somebody in, they'll give you, you know, it might only be 500 or 1,000. So, I mean, I'm in support of it, Madam Mayor, because also I think it will help us to get more seasoned officers in here, which is what we need. But I also think that because it's a one-time, I understand it's for 3 years or 4 years, but it's a one-time only expenditure, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I like that because it doesn't go to the general fund and go, well, you're going to give this guy 20,000 every year. No, we're not. He's going to get the 25 or the 15 or the 2,500 one time, maybe over 3 payments. So I like it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Mr. Middleton?
And just a quick one, but I think it's a great start to hopefully get some interest and retention. But as Councilman McCoy stated, there is several police departments. If you just look, every department in Oregon, Redding, all the way down south are offering huge benefits, and plus they are sign-on bonuses, and plus they're offering higher wages. So I think this is a first step. I think it's I think there's more that we're going to have to do down the in the future regarding pay, and we're probably going to have to start looking at where that money is going to come from. But for now, I think we have to support this. Else, I think we're already in trouble, and if we don't do this, then our public safety becomes at risk for our citizens when they can't respond to calls. But that's just the reality that we're facing, and so I think this is a good first step. But I think there is more that it's going to have to be done in the future for our police department and staffing it. And but this is a great proposal, and I support it because public safety is one of our number one reasons why we're here, to make sure our city operates, at a safe level and give them what they deserve. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Davis?
I do have a couple of questions.
Would you please speak into your microphone?
Didn't have it on. I apologize. I don't know, maybe it's Mr. Dirksen or Mr. Elsnab, it doesn't matter. Do we have any other, police departments in Siskiyou County that you know of that do signing bonuses?
I don't have the information in front of me. I want to say yes, the county does. I would have to look at the city of Mount Shasta and the city of Weed. I know Aetna's working on theirs, but I just don't have that data in front of me. But it's quite common, as Councilmember Middleton stated, like Anderson, Reading, Sacramento. I don't know one large agency that doesn't have a signing bonus or some type of hiring package.
One more question. This one is directed at you. Do we have any department here in the city of Yreka that has signing bonuses? Does the fire department have signing bonuses?
No other departments that I can think of offhand, no.
All right. So, Mayor Baker, there's going to be a spinoff off of that if we approve this. And I'm in favor of it, but I just kind of opens the door for more departments to do that. And, you know, we are looking at paid firefighters. So that is a possibility.
Councilmember Davis, if I can explain, we do currently have the signing bonus for YPD right now. It's just 5,015. So that's been in place for probably the last, I want to say decade or so. So they've been the only department for about the last 10 years that has that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Olson.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Claire?
Yeah, I think that this looks good because we're dealing with a two-pronged problem here that is also as we're having people retire. So we need young people to come in to take over for people to staff us. And also the other problem is with people retiring or leaving, you lose your ability to train new officers. So soon they're not going to even have enough people to train new officers, which is why the lateral move is pretty important, is to having guys that don't need to take an extra 6 months of training or whatever. They can pretty much get here with their knowledge, hit the ground with their boots running, and then get into an FTO position to start training new people. Because it puts everybody behind the eight ball, because they can't just go out like Lieutenant Dirksen said and go do what they want to do. They have to do X and Y amount of time before they're even free to do so. So I think it's it does a really good job of addressing the need of lateral positions for stability and also for the new recruits and getting the referrals in. So I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Mr. Elsnab and Lieutenant Dirksen, I'd like to thank you for bringing this item forward. I think that it's critical that we are doing all that we can to recruit and retain police officers for the city of Yreka. And I think that this revisiting the sign-in bonuses is a good first step. I agree with Councilmember Middleton that we are going to be looking at have to be looking at the pay as well at some point in the future. But I think that this is a really good step forward. So with that, I'd like to make the motion to adopt Resolution 2026-11 of the City Council of the City of Yreka, amending the city's personnel rules for the sworn peace officer signing bonus.
Council Middleton, I will second motion.
I have a motion from Councilmember Baker, second by Councilmember Middleton, to adopt Resolution 2026-11. Will the clerk please take a roll call vote?
All those in favor of adopting Resolution 2026-11, please signify by saying aye. Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember McCoy.
Aye.
Councilmember Middleton.
Aye.
Councilmember Claire.
Aye.
Councilmember Baker.
Yes,
Thank you. The motion passes.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, item B under city business. This is the department heads of the city of Yreka, and this is the 2026 Estate of the City. And this is a presentation only, so there's no action to take this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, council. We'll get the PowerPoint up and start this presentation.
And before you start the presentation, I would just like to thank the department heads for being here in person this evening. I really appreciate that you guys have taken an evening to come before the city council. So thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So my name is John Elsnab, the interim city manager. I'm pleased to present the annual State of the City presentation. As you will see, the purpose of this presentation is to inform you of the projects we have planned for 2026. 2025 was a very productive year, and we look forward to continuing that success. I also have a majority of the management team here with me tonight to represent their respective department. If you have any questions or feedback throughout the presentation, please let the presenter know at the end of their section before the next presenter begins. And our first slide is the city manager recruitment. This is one of our major projects for 2026. We have an executive recruitment firm called Peckham and McKinney that the council approved back in January that's doing the recruitment for this project. They've helped, with the help of council, create a candidate profile and a recruitment brochure that is actively being recruited for. We currently have 14 applicants as of February 27th, and we have at least 2 to 3 of those applicants that fit the candidate profile. So the filing deadline is for March 13th, and I'm optimistic that we will have our finalist interviews tentatively scheduled for April at the latest, but I'm optimistic that it'll be towards the end of March. So we should have a closed session meeting on that in the near future. Next slide, please. Next one is the City of Yreka Fire Hall project. This is a multi-department project that almost involves every department within the city. Planning, environmental review, and compliance for funding agencies, lot merger, and boundary line cleanup. There was a lot of work in the planning department to get this project going. We had phase 1, phase 2 environmental. We had our geotechnical studies, lots of due diligence items since this was a prior commercial site in order to buy the location for the new fire hall. For building, review plan sets, inspect construction. Over the last almost 2 years, we've met bi-weekly with the engineering team. Building department's been involved, multiple departments to work through the engineering on this project, which we are at 100% construction design. Public Works has been very helpful managing construction of the project, maintenance agreements. They've also had some excellent input on the maintenance, long-term maintenance for the site, as far as pavement, storm drains, lighting, and long-term repair plans. Let's see, finance, develop funding package and manage grant reporting for construction. That's been a huge help from finance to create a debt servicing plan, long-term financial plan to fund this project, which is estimated somewhere around $30 to $35 million. So long-term investment for the city of Yreka. And then fire, advise on facility needs during construction. Chief Lemos and Phil Anzo have been very helpful and really going line by line, building by building in the construction plans to develop a fire hall that really fits the operational needs for the city. And then human resources, we've been working on staffing, payroll, MOU development, everything from job descriptions, salary surveys, everything it takes to start a new paid position from the ground up. And just the kind of a final comment on this is really from what's gone on in the last couple of years, we've really been sprinting just to get to this point. Whether the public sees it or not, the sales tax wasn't that long ago in the past, maybe a little over a year ago or less than a year, and buying the property for the fire hall and having 3 paid staff members on board, which I'll talk about staffing in the next slide. So for staffing, a lot of collaboration with human resources, continue recruitment and onboarding for an additional 3 full-time paid firefighters with the goal of at least 6. Long-term, as the city grows, I think the goal is probably closer to 9, but for the meantime, we will hold it 3 until we have the debt servicing package. We look to, as we add new firefighters, expand upon the 4896 scheduling model to ensure 24/7 coverage. That's 2 24-hour shifts on, 4 24-hour shifts off. It's a rotating schedule where we have coverage throughout the night. We're not constantly burning out our volunteers. And then at some point, implement a reserve firefighter program for the department. We have reserves at the police department, more of like a part-time employee, kind of a step above a volunteer. Will always be a hybrid department for the foreseeable future. The volunteers are extremely important, but this will be a good way to transition some of those volunteers towards reserves and eventually towards paid staff. So we'll have a nice pool of candidates from within. And then we'll look to update personnel rules to include firefighter procedures related to the firefighter Bill of Rights. That's something we'll need to do in our personnel rules. There are different procedural rights that firefighters have under FOBAR, and we need good language to support our policies. So that's kind of an update on the fire department staffing and fire hall. At this time, I will, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Anybody have any questions so far?
Perfect. I'll hand it over to Ms. Sandberg.
Good evening. I'm Melissa Sandberg, Interim Human Resources Director. The Human Resources Department's goal and purpose is to support and equip our employees, and I believe this starts from the top. This year, we want to focus on supporting our department heads and managers so they can build teams that are successful. So we have in-house training prepared for performance review training and available for supervisors so they can deliver feedback to their employees and set goals for them to achieve in the future. There are also courses available through LCW, or you can send them to in-person trainings. You may have noticed the TV screen in the lobby at City Hall. We also have these TVs at other departments' locations, which are connected to the MVIX program. This enables us to inform the public and employees about important topics such as internal projects, incentives, and benefit programs. And we'll continue to update and use this program to spread this information. Another objective is to improve employee benefit programs for life insurance and flexible spending accounts. Last year, we used Keenan and Associates to obtain new dental and vision plans, which enhanced benefits for employees while also being a cost savings to the city. We're hoping to do the same this year with life insurance and FSAs. Next project is to revise the employer-employee resolution. This document is used to create, restructure, and form new bargaining units. It has not been updated since 2017. So this revision would include language like fact-finding to bring it into compliance with current labor code. As John alluded to earlier, we're also going to make updates to the personnel policy and procedure manual. We're going to add a section to include language for the Firefighter Procedural Bill of Rights Act, which provides protections for firefighters regarding investigations and disciplinary actions. And then lastly, we're also going to facilitate city leadership training for all department heads and managers. Again, outlining that our goal is to equip management. Each department has roughly $2,500 in their budget for training, and we'll use these funds to bring in-person training here or send our department heads and managers outside trainings. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Sandberg? Thank you so much. Great job.
Thanks.
Good evening, Council. I am Emily Aldrich, the City Finance Director and Treasurer. As you know, finance touches every single one of these projects these guys are referring to. Unfortunately, nothing happens without money behind it. So in some way or shape, we help out with every single one of these projects you're going to hear about tonight. In addition to, the finance department is currently working with Cameron Wiest to develop a long-term financial plan for our general fund, which will also coexist with John's comment regarding the funding package for the fire hall. Depending on how much grant money we can get, we're looking at a fairly sizable loan that we're going to have to strategize on how we're going to repay. So that's part of that. We are currently working on a comprehensive development impact fee study. As you guys are aware, we have development impact studies for public facilities, for water, wastewater collection. We also currently just finished up a stormwater study as well. We're trying to do those all into one study as one so that we can, we just have to update one study. So it'll make it a lot more condensed and easier for us and cheaper. We're not paying for a number of different studies year after year. We'll just know, hey, every 5 years, we're going to update the one comprehensive. This cellular endocoder update, this one I'm personally very proud of. Big shout out to Kim Cleaver and Andy Potts, who are our meter reader and our utility biller. They have taken on this project with zealous, fierce activity. They started off with 160 manual reads. And for those of you who may not know what that means, Andy has to physically get out of the truck, walk over to the meter box, open the meter box, read it, write it down, bring it back to Kim in order to have it entered. Normally, he drives around and he picks up reads. If he gets close enough to that meter, it'll send a signal back to his truck, and then everything's great. But we had 160 manual reads. We are now down to 83. We have budgeted over the next 3 years, $300,000 to go towards updating everything to this cellular. Unfortunately, the age of our meters, we're having more go out every month, so that list kind of changes back and forth. We started off with 5 cellular reads. We are now up to 210. So Andy has been working very diligently to get these installed because it does save him time. It normally used to take him 3 to 4 days of driving around the city to pick up all the reads and to get all the manual reads. In February, he got it accomplished in 2.5 days. So that type of savings, that type of time savings for him makes him available to go fix other things that they need his assistance on. Express Bill Pay. I'm hoping you all know that we went to this platform away from Civic Pay. It went live February 2nd. We have had some bumps in the road, as that will happen as you change softwares. But we are currently getting everybody on board with the new site. The upside to this one versus our last one is you can check in as a guest and pay for your dog license or pay for building permits and your business license. So it gives our constituents more options of how to pay and to be able to do it from the comfort of their home, and they don't have to come down and visit us. John is currently working on putting together a ballot measure to go in November for your approval. I think it's coming in May, June. The entire county is currently charging a 12% TOT tax. The city of Yreka is only charging 10%. So we are proposing putting a ballot measure on the ballot to increase it to that 12%. Again, this is not a tax that our constituents actually pay unless they are renting a hotel room for some reason. Most of that will be paid by travelers coming through town. I'm currently working with Cameron Wiest again on a solid waste franchise agreement. As you guys are aware, Yreka Transfer does our sanitation or trash pickup, and we have a franchise agreement with them that needs to be renewed. So we're working with them. And then finally, just because I like to torture myself and do new softwares, our current building permit software is going away, but they are developing a new one. So we are going to try and slow roll into looking at a new building permit software that will do better tracking, easier signups electronically, visible to the public via website, etc. Any questions?
Any questions?
Darn it.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Chief Gilman, Yreka Police Department. Thank you very much for the last issue you just voted on. I really appreciate it. Number one on here is our employee retention and hiring. Lieutenant Dirksen pretty much laid it all out, but we are very short. Our department still does an amazing job, and I want to give everything I can to our department. I was late tonight because I was helping with the foot pursuit of an armed male, and we got him. So our guys are still doing very, very good, even though we're short-staffed. The new bonus is hopefully going to help us. It's been very tough for us to find people to come to work for us. When I first came on here, some of the council was still here, and we were getting people left and right. And over the last year, we just can't get any employees to even want to look at us. So it's been tough. The College of the Siskiyous Police Academy, we have several officers that have gone through it. We have one working right now that we sponsored, and he's doing an amazing job. Kind of on Councilmember Davis's question about how long will they stay. He's doing amazing, and he was well worth our money. We have two in the academy right now that we have one we're sponsoring and one we're hoping to sponsor. He's in backgrounds. So the academy's working well with us right now. The other things on here are just some unintended costs that I've got, but being so short-staffed, I might be able to work with Emily and figure these out. These are all, except for the computers, all pretty low costs. So like the new printer, that's going to be the big one. We have a large printer, it's probably as big as this podium here, that handles everything we do with all of our public records requests, DA cases that go every day, all of this, which we're starting to get away from. So we're making do with a broken printer, but that's very spendy. That's going to be a big expense. The new dispatch computers could be an expense. There's, I think, 3 of them up there that we're told that they're at end of life. So basically they're patching them to keep them running, but when one goes out, it's going to be out. I have the buffer with 3, so we're letting it ride hopefully till the next budget cycle, or if I could work something out with the savings I have this year due to my shortages, then I might fix those first. I think they're probably my priority. The portable speed sign, I missed one. The software purchase for YPD to talk with the DA's office. We all use RIMS now. We all have similar systems. And so we're kind of going away from the paper to the district attorney's office to where now we can send our report straight from dispatch. The RAND board got some money through vehicle fees that you pay when you register a vehicle in Siskiyou County. That money paid for several agencies to have this. It didn't pay. We thought it was going to. It turned out it didn't for Yreka and Mount Shasta. So I need to come up with that. It's around $4,000. So it's not a huge hit, but I need to get this patch that links our computer to their computer. So that's what that one is. The portable speed sign with photo capabilities is something we've talked about. Some council members and mayors have requested it. I'd really like to see that happen. The very cheap routes are around $3,000 to $5,000, and that just gives you a speed sign. But I think to really make a difference, we probably should have something that is a little more elaborate, maybe has some photo capability, something portable that we can move around to problem streets and let people know that we're actively working on these streets. So that's going to be one we're looking at, hopefully in the next budget cycle, unless we can find some way to make it happen sooner. With school year getting ready to end, it should be nice to have one before then for like Knapp Street, Lenox, those areas, Oregon Street. And last is the dog kennel facility improvements. We've talked about that before, but the dog kennel has been a thing for, I think, probably 10 years. It's been needed to be rebuilt. I believe a council about 10 years ago actually put together a funding package. Maybe it was 8 years ago, or not a funding, but a brochure of what it needs and how run down it is. And with the amount of dogs that we take in, I really think it's important that we have a better quality dog kennel. Right now, we have a hard time keeping them warm. We had to buy sweaters for them this winter when it got cold because of all the issues we have. So that's that's going to be a big pull. So hopefully we can find a grant or something. Maybe the city can help us out. Maybe anyone that has ideas. That's kind of a wish list, but I think it's important for the animal control. You know, a lot of people care about dogs. I do for sure. And when we're out there putting sweaters on them just to get them through the night, we obviously have a problem. But that's going to be a big pull. So I don't know how we'll do that one yet. So that's what I have, unless you have questions.
Mr. McCoy?
Mhm.
Should we choose to place a photo enforced? It's probably for both of you. We have some ordinances need to be changed, right?
If we're going to issue a citation with it, yes, we would have to get other signage and stuff. If we just have photos so we can see who's doing what, I don't believe it would take another one because it's not linked to LPERS or LPR or anything.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Middleton? Mr. Davis?
Chief Gilman, maybe you could sign one of those dogs with your signing bonus program. There'd be the money for the kennel.
I'll give it a try. I'm desperate.
Mr. Claire?
That's it.
Thank you.
So when you say the dog kennels are going to be a big pull, what are we talking?
I don't have a quote because this thing was done so long ago and I don't believe it even had a quote that went with it. But we'd be looking at expanding the kennels themselves, possibly going to where the dog run is, maybe putting some kennels there. We would need either a heated floor or some type of walls. Right now, they're open to the outdoors. So they have heat pads that they lay on and they have a heater that's on the cage. Those typically go out. We have to keep replacing them. So we're looking at probably all kennels need to be rebuilt. The cages they're in now are bad. We get escapee dogs because they chew through them and they've been welded back up. So we're looking at the chain link for all the kennels, maybe some additional kennels, possibly some walls to protect them and a heated floor. And then obviously the offices, and it's very small. It's big enough for probably 4 or 5 of us to stand in, and that's about it. So we'd probably need something to do with the office. We don't even have a computer out there. The kennel tech has an iPad, how she communicates. So they can't even log into our system to say what dogs get adopted. They have to hand print it, take it to the police department. We have to enter it there. So it can be as simple as redoing kennels and as big as tearing it down and rebuilding the whole indoor facility. Somewhere in between. And I haven't even looked for grants yet because it wasn't something on the list that, that was on my priority list, but I would like to start looking at grants before I retire, which I'll be retired in a couple of months. I'm the May 1st one that Lieutenant Dirksen talked about. So I would like to see if I can find something prior to then and see what we can afford and what we can do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good evening, council, members of, Madam Mayor, members of the council, Fire Chief Jerry Lemus. So as far as the fire department is concerned, I think Mr. Elsnab hit the big piece of cake earlier. So in addition to the fire station and paid staff, we've been really working hard on communication upgrades with our radios, which are obviously a very important part of what we need to do our jobs. And we did get the one grant for 4 new radios, and we're currently in the throes of working with Lexipol for another grant for an additional 15 radios, which will put us in really good position to for our handheld radios to provide for all types of emergencies. So that's a huge lift right there, and it's considered a micro grant, so we have a very good chance of getting that as well and save some money for the budget. In addition to that, we're working on with a gentleman from Campora to get our propane props at the training center rebuilt. So that's in the works right now, and we're hoping to get that done this year so we have some additional training props to train our firefighters on. So vehicle fire prop, dumpster fire, that sort of thing. So which we run into a lot of those over the years. Possibly in the future, replace the command vehicle and in addition, our utility is getting a lot of miles on it and has some issues. So that's one thing for more of a down the road type project. Training on new California fire code change. That's an additional thing that we can do with our paid staff, which Captain Smith has been working on that as well. And then lastly, fire officer and inspector series trainings, which that is something else we're going to have to look at some point, is a robust inspection program, which will help with the R1s and R2s, the hotels, motels, that sort of thing, which are severely in need of inspections. As we do go on complaints with code enforcement, we're finding more and more that they need attention. So those are things we're trying to fold in the mix here, so we can have a safer town when it comes to fire protection. But that's all I have for you. If you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Chief Lemus.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. Matthew Bray, your Public Works Director. I'm going to start off just saying that this is a short list, and I'm going to get through it as quickly as I can. We condensed this quite a bit for tonight, and we'll be working here shortly on a number of new press releases to put out to the public to revive what we once did back when Caltrans was tearing apart Main Street and we were really on the ball. But that said, staff has been buried getting this going, and I'm excited to share this with you tonight. So number one, facilities assessment at the Public Works Yard. It's an antiquated facility. We're currently crafting new inventory methodologies and surveying our buildings to meet the current codes and the building codes. The service center was built back in the 60s, and a lot of it has not been updated ever since. So we have some failure points. One of those being HVAC improvements. The fleet shop, we're running on failure parts there. Wastewater treatment plant has failed heaters and air conditioning units. Recently found out that the community center has some pretty massive problems. That'll be a funding hurdle that we will overcome, as we just did with the community theater over the last year. And then this building, the council chambers, is also on our priority list to update, because this is original to the build for the HVAC. We've got a lot all over the city. The HVAC have just been ignored and not replaced, So the current budgets as it sit does cover the fleet and wastewater treatment plant. We combine some budgets around from maintenance lines, and that's what we're going to take care of first. Big hitter, heavy hitter we've been spending a lot of time on is the water supply and storage improvements projects. This came in at bid at about $7 million. It's funded at $9 million. State revolving fund, no city match. I've spoken to you multiple times. The project develops the new groundwater source by drilling and equipping a production well, the YPD, constructing a new 1 million gallon tank near the current lower Humbug tank on the north end of town, demolishing that existing tank, updating a pump station over on Outson Road on the south side, and constructing a new 200,000 gallon tank on the hill above those existing tanks. The easements for that project and a small parcel of land up top for the new Shasta Bell tank were graciously donated years ago by the late Myron Anderson, and then recently finalized with his wife, Judy. And the city will be forever grateful to the Anderson family for that gift. Brett Duncan, another neighbor adjoining, has also allowed egress rights over his adjoining property to get us in and out for the duration of the build of the tank. And the city has also worked with Robert Wolf up on the north end of town for lands and easements required for the lower Humbug tank. And that's just the pieces of this massive project. It's contractors started mobilizing into town yesterday. They're building down at the corporation yard. So they have their own mini corporation yard built down there now. And just so you're aware, we've been working on this in engineering and chasing funding to get to yesterday for 11 years. The Fall Creek intake improvements, the city water, as you know, is taken from in stream at Fall Creek. In the last few years, we've upgraded some fish barriers to the intake screens. We are getting a new catwalk across the creek for better access to those headworks, and then another catwalk up on the B dam so we can better maintain that. Water service water meter service inventory, finance spoke to already, but I do want to tap onto that we are working closely with finance, as we typically do, to inventory and upgrade the current meter system to cellular. It's a 3 to 4 year project that we've budgeted for, as Emily spoke to, and it really more efficiently gathers that meter data. And it's not just for the billing, it's for state reporting that our water manager, Roy Hathaway, and I turn in every month. So getting those numbers down on our losses puts us in a better place for future grants, for better, infrastructure improvements down the road. The water audit, we came in this year as average, statewide average, which is not bad, but we found with our auditor a number of simple fixes for us to raise those scores up. So we'll be greatly above average, we're hoping, next year. We've repaired a few large leaks that we've found that helps those numbers on our losses. And we're moving towards moving a meter out at the filter plant for processed water, because we actually use water to filter water. And so that meter move will help those numbers also. The urban water management plan, I'll just leave it that we have a consultant, Zanjero, is working on those updates, and I will be updating you further in future meetings on that. Wastewater, next slide. So staff has been fully involved in their state certification trainings. We see an upcoming bump in our tier of permitting down there. I can't speak highly enough for the 4 folks down there at the wastewater treatment plant. They do a great job every day. They do so well. It seems like we never get to talk about them, but those guys really are running a tip-top ship, and it's antiquated. We have a massive project coming on that, but we're waiting on funding. The plant requires a very sizable upgrade. Current engineering estimates right now are sitting at $44 million of required updates. Obviously, we can't just go get a grant for $44 million that simply. So, but we're out looking for, there's no match funding. We're always looking at SRF, state revolving funds, with a no match. So we're going to break it into phases over 4, 5, 6 years, and we're going to get what we need there. But the electrical is all direct bury. It's all original to the 60s when we built the plant. It's failing, popping breakers underground, things like that. The SCADA, the way that we can run our water system from our cell phones from anywhere on the planet, it'll be fully tied in down there. And major process changes, getting away from chlorine, going to UV light, things of that nature. And I will bring that back to you as we get closer to these phases, because we don't have funding availability right now. Back over to fleet, the CARB improvements. Fleet manager Renee Hoisington's keeping us very tightly in compliance with the constant movement of the state CARB compliancy for the Clean Fleet initiatives. It's a barrage of webinars, it's seminars, meetings. She sits them, I sit them, we both sit them, we tag team them when we can. It's difficult to keep up with, but I can't speak highly enough about Renee and the way that she's keeping us compliant. We do have some big items coming. We've got trucks that if the state and CARB is telling us we can no longer utilize here within the next year or so. So there's going to be some big numbers coming through the next 218 process when we're looking at the cost of doing business in public works. And I'll speak to that in the future. Going over to paving, we've got the rubberized chip seal. We haven't done rubberized chip seal in Yreka before. I'll call it a pilot. I've been watching it closely for about 15 years. I'm convinced it's worth it. So we're going for it this fall up in the northwest quadrant of town. It's all been prepped out over the last year or two. Streets crews, again, I can't speak highly enough about it, but they've got it all ready to go. So we'll be putting that out to bid. And there's a piece of that there's a little funding pot coming in from the state for the use of recycled tires within that asphalt. So there's a little price break there. Again, I need to speak back to Measure C. So Public Works maintains 97 lane miles. And when you stop and think about that for a minute, it's pretty impressive. Nearly 100 lane miles. So we have a lot of potholes. Right? If you're going to drive to Medford and back, that's a drive. There's a lot of potholes to chase. Prior to passing Measure C in 2016, our streets were rated at a 48 out of 100. At that time, the current funding projections, we couldn't maintain annual projects. We were skipping years. We weren't chip sealing. We weren't patching as much as we do now. the projections, that funding level then in 16 were driving the average street down to a 39 out of 100 if we did nothing. But we took it to the voters, and the voters trusted us and voted yes for Measure C. And through the diligent work of our maintenance division, our streets rating right now as of today is 73 out of 100. My wildest expectations were blown completely out of the window. I got the report last month and I thought it was an error. So that just speaks back to the guys out in the crew that are running it, and we're only doing it because we're using the local funds of Measure C. We're coupling them up with SB1 funding, and we're just getting after it. So I'd ask everybody to look back 10 years ago when I was up here explaining the need for streets, and Chief Bowles was up here explaining the need for money for cops. And we got the same story tonight. I'm a little bit ahead of Chief right now today with that because of Measure C. So I can't thank the voters enough for trusting us, and I'm making the promise that we're going to get that 73 upward trend going even more. Finally, there's the East Lenox Flood Hazard Reduction Project. That has been in the works for ages, and the design's nearly finalized and the permits are nearly completed. It's a flood corridor project. We won't be putting in bridges. We won't be putting in trails and signs and that I've spoken to you before, but we should be getting into construction this season. The area east of Yreka Creek, between Highway 3 and East Lenox, is to be graded and hydrologically modified to allow better passage of the large flood events, particularly the FEMA 100 flood. So it just ties back into all of the work we've done for many decades. And yes, it's broken into pieces. Folks refer to it as the Greenway, but at its core, it's FHR. It's the Flood Hazard Reduction Project, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take decades, but when we're done, no one in town needs flood insurance. And that's the point of the FHR project. So that's what I have. Do you have any questions for me this evening?
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you much.
Okay, thank you. Good evening.
All right, I will round us out here. 2 slides. So thank you for having the opportunity to present to you today. So I'll talk about community development. And so we have several different areas that we cover, specifically resilience, code enforcement, and planning and building. So I'll start with resilience and code enforcement on this slide. So as you know, Sarah Chaffee, our resiliency planner, we really benefit from the Jumpstart program. Having her, she is fully grant funded along with her training and supplies budget. We have that grant for another about 2.5 years, 2 years. So we're trying to get as much out of that as possible before we have to make the decision on that position. But this year, Sarah has shifted her focus. In 2025, she focused a lot on our local hazard mitigation plan that is coupled with the counties, which was adopted successfully. We also submitted a hazard mitigation grant program grant, which if you don't know what that is, it's an extensive multi-month process. And so Sarah was able to make her way through that, which is that in and of itself is a feat. But it was presented to the state board last week. So hopefully we'll hear back if that is going to move to the federal FEMA consideration board. That would be a program that would home harden private properties throughout the city, as well as provide funding for defensible space for private property owners who are in the very high wildfire severity zone. So one, it would be bringing in dollars from the federal government through FEMA to pay for contractors to do that. So it's bringing some tax dollars back to the community if funded, as well as getting everybody more fire hardened from wildfire events, which hopefully leads to lower insurance rates, among other benefits. So hopefully that project will get funded. That would pay out in fiscal year 27. So we would have a little bit of time before that project starts if funded. So we've shifted over from hazard mitigation to emergency response. So Sarah is working with all of the departments within the city to update our emergency operations plan, or EOP, if you hear someone say it, as well as our COOP, which is our continuity of operations plan. And so that's really looking at if a hazard occurred, whether it be cybersecurity, flood, severe weather, what is the plan of action for dealing with that emergency, as well as how are we going to continue regular operations of the city if one of those situations occurs. Sarah has also been working with all of our departments to get everyone trained up in emergency response. Everyone's been doing a really great job of taking those trainings as well as participating in our tabletop exercise last year. We will also be doing a continuity of operations exercise this year with the department heads and potentially our managers as well to continue to get staff ready to respond to emergency events when those occur. We are continuing our green waste program. We're increasing the number of days and trying to increase the number of participants in that program. So we'll be going through and doing those improvements. You may see some changes in that. We do have, as part of the program, to start doing some kind of pickup throughout neighborhoods for individuals who cannot make it to the site. So Sarah will be working on that program in terms of how that's going to work, what the costs are associated with it. One of the things that we focus on with the Green Waste program is keeping a lot of data for it, one, for grant reporting, but two, to be able to inform the council on if that's a project that you want to continue or a service you want to continue to offer after that grant is done. And then what are the costs to the individuals using that service or the city if you choose to subsidize it. Finally, we also have a number of fuels reduction projects going on in Greenhorn, as well as the Greenway itself. We don't have the Greenway called out specifically here, but Sarah has been working with Matt and Ben Miller with Public Works to look at different fuels reduction methods. We are working with CDFW right now on allowing goats and other types of small livestock to be able to help us with a Greenway management and fuels management. Again, that goes back to our mosaic plan to do a number of different types of fuels reduction to just show people that there are other options than clear cutting or, masticating. We're trying to get those things going. CDFW is very excited to work on this because they don't really have a process to allow goats to come into properties and do this type of management. So we're hoping going through this process, it may also improve statewide programming with CDFW to make it easier for other communities to utilize livestock for fuels reduction work. So we're continuing that on. You'll also have seen the California Conservation Corps has been up in the Greenhorn area doing a number of projects. They have concluded their hours at this time, but we're hoping to continue to strengthen that relationship as we move forward with our fuels reduction throughout the city of Yreka. So moving over to code enforcement, some notable things from 2025 is our code enforcement officer, Officer Mon, is now a certified code enforcement officer, which is great. He is working on a standards and policies and procedures manual right now. We have not really had one in the past. And essentially what it is that if we do need additional assistance on code enforcement cases, you'd be able to go into this standard policies and procedures manual and be able to go through all of the processes that we have to go through and able to notify people, fine people, go to the courts, things like that. So we're putting that standard together for continuity purposes and to make sure that we are well aware of, the steps we have to take with those code enforcement cases. We have about 92 open cases at this point. We did close about 72 cases last year, which is great. Some of those are very simple courtesy notice. We get compliance. Majority of them are that, which is great. We don't want to have to go after people and find them or do some of the more costly code enforcement actions. So we are very happy with the compliance that we're getting right now. Going back to it, though, we do have a number of notable bigger projects. So the Shasta Courtyard improvements, at this point, they have been cleared and have corrected all of those issues that we heard about last year. And then just working on substandard buildings and enforcement for that. We're doing some more training for Officer Mon to assist our building official as well with California Building Code enforcement. Again, we just see a lot of subpar housing issues, especially with our multi-units and our lower income areas. So we want to make sure that we're going through and being educated on what we need to do to have better living standards for individuals within the city. Next slide, please. So we'll move on to planning and building. So primarily we're doing the Planning Commission retool, as you know. So we have a work plan for that for the majority of this year. That's a big focus for our planning manager, who you've heard from earlier today. And then we're going to be continuing the housing element implementation. So this year we have owner occupancy rehabilitation programs. So similar to the home hardening, we're going to be focusing on developing programs to assist individuals to essentially go back through, if you remember, or you may not remember, Councilmember Claire, because you weren't here yet. But we did a housing conditions inventory of the city. And so we identified areas of the city where houses appear more dilapidated than others, more overgrown vegetation. And we scored them and then looked at that versus the demographics of the area and found that a majority of our poor condition housing are in in neighborhoods that are predominantly lower income, have more people with a declared disability status, as well as our veterans. So we do have a number of neighborhoods where it's older veterans who are just not able to care for their homes anymore as easily. And so we're working on programming that would support those kinds of projects, whether that be through a expedited review process or for looking at different types of incentive programs to assist people with those updates. We're also continuing our fair housing compliance with the state of California. We're required to have more housing information on our website. We're working with the Siskiyou County Health and Human Services on that aspect as well, trying to get people connected to fair housing and tenant representation as well for individuals who may have a contentious tenant and landlord situation. We do not offer legal services, but it's just essentially getting all of those resources together in a centralized hub so that when we have people come in with issues that maybe it's a little bit bigger than us to deal with, we can direct them to the correct resources to be able to handle those types of situations. And finally, it's been 4 years and it has to get done this year. And so I have to get the general plan done. Been moving that 2044, 2045, 2046 date too much. And so I have to get that done for you all this year. That's my major focus within my own personal workload. And then we do have the comprehensive zoning, subdivision, and buildings and construction codes updates. So that's Title 11, 15, and 16 have undergone comprehensive changes. That will be brought forward to the City Council for consideration with the general plan update. We're doing very well on that end. We do have our contract planning services through Precision Civil Engineering assisting with that code update and the specifics there. But hopefully by the end of this calendar year, we'll have you at a place where you're up to date on all of your code and general plan compliance. So additionally, we support every other department. I know we've talked about this a lot, but the city of Yreka is really unique in that we don't sit in our silos very often. It's not normal for a lot of cities to be this integrated. And so we are still working on water supply projects for you with the Fall Creek purchase. We're working on a number of other issues through there, but hopefully those will conclude and we can move on to some of the other fun stuff. So thank you. And I believe those are the end of my slides. There's one left, I think, for John to recap, but did you have any questions?
Any questions? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Did we lose it?
So I just want to add that, this is just a partial list of all the projects we have. It doesn't count for the 100 employees we do payroll for the calls for service every day, for the 3,500 ratepayers. I'm really proud to have the team we have, and 2026 is going to be a good year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Elsnap. At this time, I will open this up for public comment. There's no public comment, so I just want to say thank you. This was a great presentation, and I can only speak for myself, although sometimes I like to speak for others. But this is a great presentation. It gives us a lot of good information. I would like to see it done in conjunction with the budget hearings in the future. So with that, I will move on to item 11F, which is the city manager staff reports.
With the state of the city presentation, I don't have anything to report tonight. Yeah, that's a good point. Unfortunately, we did not receive the Cal Recycle grant for the Campus Drive cleanup. That said, we're going to pursue it on the next grant cycle. We came very close. Miss Lucchese and staff did an excellent job of putting that together. I think we were fourth and they funded the first three. So we'll look forward to pursuing that down the road. But unfortunately, we did not get that grant.
Thank you. Thank you for that good news. All right, item G is the mayor, council member reports, statements, and requests. Start with you, Mr. McCoy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just have two things. I want to thank Ryan Horvath and Teen Challenge for all they're doing to help our community. They're doing a lot of work in conjunction with, Philip, Matt, Ben, through Public Works, and John and you, Madam Mayor, are the ones that set this up, and I do appreciate it. It's nice to see things happening. I want a personal note, we have two of our Yreka High School graduates in the Gulf right now. They're Merchant Marines. They've been Merchant Marines for almost 30 years. They're both on separate ships. They're brothers, and they are supplying the Fifth Fleet over there, which is in active combat. And it doesn't, I'm not going to say whether I agree or disagree because it really doesn't matter. What matters is that they stay safe. And we hope that we have a lot of Marines that have come out of Yreka High School in the last 10 years, and a lot of other service members. So I just really hope that we can all be very compassionate and think wonderful thoughts. And if you're so inclined, pray wonderful thoughts that we can get our young men and women home safely.
Thank you. Councilmember Middleton?
No report. Just to have the COC meeting tomorrow, so I'll report back at next council meeting on that. Just want to thank everybody for coming up tonight with from the staff and let us know all your projects. Sometimes we move right along and we forget how many things that is going on over there after, because we go on to the next project and approve and we move on, we forget some of the things that are happening. So thanks for a reminder of everything that's happening in the city of Yreka, and I appreciate work. I'm sure the rest of the council does. So thank you for that, and it was a great presentation. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Claire?
I just want to say thank you to the staff for a great report, all the hard work you guys did and have been doing. Looking forward to the upcoming year. You guys have been working really hard, everybody, all the staff and on all levels. So it's greatly appreciated. That's all I have. I have nothing else to report besides that. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me see. I'm continuing to hold a public hour on Fridays here in the chambers, beginning at 2:30, and it is an open door policy. I have a 14-year-old grandson that asked me to use some of my clout as mayor to make a public announcement about a bingo fundraiser for Jackson Street School, the eighth graders. It's to fund their eighth grade trip. And it is actually an afternoon of bingo at the Elks Hall on April 19th. And so I've done it, Caleb. I hope you're watching. In addition to that, I just want to say thank you to Councilmember McCoy for working with Teen Challenge. The plaza looks really, really good. So, and I met with Pastor Ryan Horvath today, and they are really appreciating your assistance specifically that you're giving them. So I just want to give you a shout out. So I think that is all I have, except I would like to just piggy bank on Councilmember McCoy's comments. God bless our troops. And with that, I will close our meeting.